following is an unpaid preview for a game seeking funding on Kickstarter. The product seen here is a work in progress and is subject to change during the duration of the project. Hi, Ferdinand the Cardboard Stacker here with a preview of Mutant Crops from Ediciones, a game designed by Sebastian Coziner that plays 2 to 4 players ages 14 and up in about 15 to 30 minutes. Mutant Crops is a micro-worker placement game in which farmers, the players, are raising crops. Growing these crops is easy. Maybe. First, you need to exchange seeds for the crops. Then, each mutant crop needs the basic necessities: some water, and juicy pieces of steak. The game begins with all the stage 1 actions available, and 2 meeples are given in a 3 or 4 player game. At the end of each round, the next card is flipped and new actions can be performed, so there will only be 7 rounds in a game of Mutant Crops. A player can choose an action on an available space of a card. Once taken, no other player can use it except through special means. Some of the basic actions you can do are gathering one of the 3 resources: seeds, which let you buy crops; water, which water your crops; and steak to feed them. Once you have enough resources, you can feed one of your crops. Place one of the resources to signify which of the resources have been given. You can also complete the bottom effect only once your crop has been watered and fed. It is also important to note, for an action to be done, it must be completely used. In other words, an action that lets you water 2 crops must be enough to water 2 crops. At the end of the 7th and final round, players add up their points. Fed and water crops score points, and the bottom effects of the crops can also score in different ways. Be the farmer to score the most points wins Mutant Crops. And indeed, it's very much like Agricola, but it's much quicker to set up and play, and to teach. Faster means also simpler, and I love to bring this to players as an introduction to worker placement. The art is okay, and I think it's fine. Mutant Crops is a game that I would bring to new or even younger players, but the mutant theme is taking it a little bit too seriously. I understand what they're going for, but I'm worried the accessibility might deter some players that I want to bring into worker placement games. Moving on to player counts, any of them fits fine, that being 2, 3, and 4 players. In 2-player mode, player gets 3 meeple farmers instead. Please take this lightly, but I do feel, as a gamer who play more complicated worker placement games, feel it's a step back. Really, the only thing that gets blocked is feeding your crops. If that has been blocked, then the only best option is to stock on resources, and there's plenty of those. At least in games I've played, there's always an action that is always beneficial. Finally, I think there isn't a game like Mutant Crops. Yes, there are worker placements, but for a game this short, portable, and elegant, this is the game I'm bringing out to those who want to get into worker placement games. This is a great little game that packs a punch. A good worker placement in only 30 minutes or less with easy to understand rules. I like it very much, and that's why it's gonna get my crowdfunding recommendation award. And before you go, if this game interests you, please visit the Kickstarter page for more information.